Hi guys, it's me, Skylar Capri, and today we're doing the second video in my Bath & Body Works SAS prep series. And today we're talking about all of the rumored bring back fragrances coming for the sale. Now, this is going to be a collection of fragrances sourced off lifeinsidethepage.blogspot.com. Tess officially has her SAS tab up, so I felt a little bit more confident making this video and why it's taken me a little bit longer to get up for you guys. But a lot of these fragrances aren't going to be anything super new. I've talked about them whether through the survey series or that one-off SAS series, but we definitely have more of that formalized list now, so I wanted to share it with you guys. That said, if you're returning to my channel, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. We do all things body care on my channel, so if that sounds like something interesting to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's dive right on into the video. All right, you guys, so I'm gonna sit on this side of the screen and put some images up right here. Regarding the images for each of these body care throwbacks, it might not be the most recent packaging. Rather than doing the most recent packaging, if I have any particular favorites or ones that I remember, that's the packaging that I'm gonna be putting up on the screen. I know some of these are very nostalgic for some of us, so I wanted to show you guys the products that I remember and that are nostalgic to me. Regarding the entire list though, this list is coming from lifeinsidethepage.blogspot.com. Tess runs a wonderful Bath & Body Works blog, and she has an entire tab on her blog dedicated to semi-annual sale. Highly recommend if you're interested in the body care, the home care, the accessories, just want to stay up to date with all the news coming out related to the sale. Make sure you check out Tess's blog, and in the description box, as always, will be the direct link to the post that I was looking at. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the fragrances. I think we have like 9 or 10 fragrances, and I don't want this video to be a half hour long, so we're just gonna go right into it. The first fragrance we have rumored to be coming back is going to be Black Amethyst, and this one has notes of peony petals, sweet sandalwood, and patchouli, and then creamy amber. I believe this one was released around 2008, 2009, but has since been repackaged a couple of times. I did briefly talk about this, I think just in a general SAS spoilers, very early rumors video that I did maybe a couple of weeks ago. This is just not my favorite fragrance. I think it's something between that like patchouli and floral that just doesn't really work well for me. There are other fragrances that were released around the same time, such as the Midnight Pomegranate, which I talked about a couple videos ago, like I mentioned, that I would prefer over a Black Amethyst. But I think if you maybe like things like Into the Night or Dark Kiss, fragrances that are a little bit more sultry, I think the Black Amethyst could be a unique one to add to your collection, but definitely one I would recommend smelling in stores. This is not one that I think is so, I guess, direct enough with the scent notes that I think you could be confident to blind buy. There's a couple of other ones where if you like one scent note, you're gonna like the fragrance pretty much. Black Amethyst though, definitely one I recommend smelling in stores. The next one we have is going to be Cactus Blossom. I believe this was the Botanical in Bloom survey. This was one of the fragrances featured in that survey that we took last year. And this one has notes of cactus flower petals, sun-kissed coconut, and fresh sparkling lemon. Similar to Black Amethyst, this has been repackaged a couple of times. I think the last time we saw this fragrance was maybe in 2022 or 2023, and it came out with things such as Sensual Amber, I think it was Midnight Blue Citrus, and Underwater Oasis, and sort of this tie-dye as well as faceted packaging. And now I've owned Cactus Blossom in a single wick candle, and I do like it in the home care, but this is gonna always stay as a home care fragrance for me, not something that I wanna wear in the body care. I'm not sure what exact note it comes down to, but I think it might just be this overall clean, almost laundry smelling, like fresh, clean towels smelling fragrance that I just prefer in the body, or I just prefer in the home care, not something that I'd want to wear in the body care. The next one is one that I would really love to see back in body care, so I'm super excited to see this on Tessa's SAS body care list, and that is going to be Cashmere Glow. Now, I had this one a really long time ago, so you're going to probably see much older packaging and with the older bottle styles, but Cashmere Glow has notes of golden peach, exotic berries, and glowing lily petals, and it says indulge with shimmering vanilla and cashmere musk. I believe this is also one that we voted on when we were doing those 2025 like picks for 2026, that survey through the rewards in-app platform last year. This is one I definitely voted on. I remember this quite fondly. Something that I think is just the perfect transitional fragrance from summer into fall. Perfect for that late August, kind of early September time where you're done with everything tropical, but you might not be ready to jump into your apples and your pumpkins and like your brown sugar and your cinnamon style fragrances. Cashmere Glow is just this perfect, sweet, warm, almost solar in a way style fragrance, but something that I really enjoyed using, so I hope it's the exact same as what I remember it. The next one, when I saw this on this list, I don't know how this one keeps being revived, because I always feel like, in my store at least, there is so much excess of this fragrance, it's not even funny, and that is going to be Cucumber Melon. Now, Cucumber Melon is an OG Bath & Body Works scent, very much in the original lineup, and I will give it its like credit in that it has managed to stay around and be re-released so many times, but I'm not exactly sure why, because this is a fragrance I don't really like. This one has notes of crisp cucumber, watery honeydew, summer cantaloupe, sparkling grapefruit, and sheer woods. And from a notes perspective, and as someone that really likes citrus, you would think that I'd maybe like this, but I think the problem is like the watery honeydew, maybe like the sparkling grapefruit. It's this very watered down, like off-putting melon style fragrance. And then the crisp cucumber takes away any sweetness that you might have gotten from the grapefruit or from the cantaloupe. So it just becomes this weird kind of like middle ground watery melon style fragrance that is not fresh enough where it's refreshing, but it's also not sweet enough where it's juicy and ripe for the summer. It's just kind of this weird medium that I don't think works on a lot of people, and a lot of people for that reason just don't really like this fragrance, and unfortunately I fall in this category. Very curious to see what they will do with the packaging. This one has probably had 12 different packagings, so I'm interested to see what they will repackage this one as this time. The next one we have is one of my favorites. Going to be putting up some very OG packaging on this one. I had this one in a travel size set years ago. Hopefully I can find an entire trio, but I had this back when the like fine fragrance mist were in an entirely different bottle style. They were much smaller, and I had this one, I had P.S. I Love You, and I had Carried Away. And then in my other fine fragrance mist, I had things like Pure Paradise, the original Amber Blush, not what they released in that White Bar Neutrals collection a couple of years ago. I also had Velvet Sugar, and then I think the last one I had was maybe Paris Amour, but this one is very much a part of my original Bath & Body Works collection. And this one says a blend of sparkling lemon, bright wildflowers, and spring woods, inspired by the fresh air and natural beauty of America's countryside. If you like outdoorsy, fresh florals that don't lean too sweet, but don't lean too bitter or too like florally, like a fresh cut lilacs might just be way too much for you, I think this is such a beautiful floral. Would be great for the end of spring, or again, like a Cashmere Glow, that transitional time from August into like a September or October. The next one is going to be Open Sky. There's one fragrance note in this that just ruins the fragrance for me, but a lot of people really enjoyed this one. And this one did release as a signature scent a couple of years ago. And this one has notes of wild blackberry bushes, fields of soft violets, and a cloud of comforting vanilla. vanilla. For me, it is just that violet note, whether it's candied violets or fresh violets, or as in this one, a field of soft violets. There is something with a violet that just puts me completely off a fragrance. It's something that I've had to learn over time, that I've just noticed now that, hey, all of these have violets and I don't like any of them. However, that said though, a lot of people do really enjoy this fragrance. Another one, like the Black Amethyst, I highly recommend you smell this in store and you don't just go ahead and buy it online, because this one can be very hit or miss. The next one is one I was definitely excited about, and this is going to be Lemon Pomegranate Cream. Now, this one came out in a trio with things like Apple Blossom and Lavender, and then I think it's Peach, Honey, and Almond. And this was a very, I don't remember the exact year that this one came out, but this is very like 2014, 2016. Really reminds me of like Charming Charlie's, if you know what that store was, but I think this is such a nice fragrance. It says a light as air blend of lemon cream, red pomegranates, and iced raspberries, topped with white woods and peony petals. I mean, all of those fragrance notes just sound like something I really enjoy, and I have been pushing for a lemon fragrance of some capacity really all throughout the spring and early summer this year, so I'm super excited to see this one as part of the lineup. The next one we have, and I promise we're almost done, we just have 4 more. The next one we have is going to be Poppy. Now, this one was also a signature scent, I want to say spring a couple of years ago. Not one that I picked up, just really wasn't a huge fan of it. And this one says fresh morning dew, wild poppies, sugared rhubarb, and juicy pear. And I think the poppies note might be similar to the violets in something like an open sky. I like the majority of florals. I like all things jasmine. Like if a fragrance has jasmine in it, it automatically went up like 2 points on like the Skylar scale of me liking it. So I really enjoy things that have jasmine, really enjoy things that have peony or magnolia. I really enjoy kind of these white creamy florals, or like even freesia. However, I think it's with more of like, I don't know, direct or stronger florals, like a poppy, like a violet, like a rose even. I just can't really do those fragrances as much, and I think that's what happens with this poppy fragrance. The next one though, I'm super excited about, and this one's gonna be Rain-Kissed Leaves. This one says it's green leaves, crisp watercress, and delicate petals. Again, I believe this one was a very original Bath & Body Works fragrance. I've been talking about the last couple of weeks that we don't really have a true fresh fragrance in the current lineup, so super excited to see this one as a rumored returning fragrance. And definitely, I'm not seeing anything else in the current lineup for the fragrances that we talked about today, or what's available online or in store, that would be semi-comparable to this, even in the aromatherapy collection at this point in time. So I'm really excited to smell this one, as this is one that I don't think I ever picked up, but I somewhat remember from the very early 2000s. The next one we have is one that I'm super excited for. This is one that I featured in my discontinued spring scents maybe last year in 2025. And this one is notes of, oh, I don't think I mentioned the fragrance. This is going to be Secret Wonderland, and this one says it is a sweet, magical blend of luscious strawberry, frosted jasmine petals, and white amber. If you are familiar with Velvet Sugar, which is one of my all-time favorite fragrances, if not my all-time favorite fragrance, that one also has strawberries, it has jasmine, and it has a floral backing. So these are kind of like sisters in a way. So I'm super excited to get my nose on this one, as this is one that I remember smelling and maybe owning in the travel size. It had like really cool packaging. I remember it being like a cool tone pink with, I want to say, like teal and navy swirls all over it. Again, I'm not going to put the most recent packaging. I'll put the packaging that I remember, but I think I just own this one in the travel size. So I need to definitely go back in store and re-smell it just to make sure I like it enough to then buy it in the full size. But I'm pretty confident, and especially with the scent notes, that this is something I'm going to love. And now the last fragrance we have, this is one that I think you could be okay blind buying online, because it seems like everyone likes this fragrance as long as you like one fragrance note, and that is going to be Wrapped in Vanilla. Wrapped in Vanilla has notes of soft vanilla, velvet sugar, and chantilly cream. Most people that like vanilla at Bath & Body Works, it could be Warm Vanilla Sugar, it could be Vanilla Romance, it could be Vanilla Bean Noel. They all talk so highly of Wrapped in Vanilla. And we did see the other fragrance called Blush Cardigan, which Wrapped in Vanilla and Blush Cardigan came out at the same time. We did see Blush Cardigan come out last year for semi-annual sale in the summertime, and now we are rumored to be seeing Wrapped in Vanilla come out this year. So that entire fragrance scent would have been available throughout the 2 SASs, but I know so many people, especially when they found out Blush Cardigan was coming back, were like, hey, where's Wrapped in Vanilla? We need that one back. So I'm super excited to see it on a rumored returning list. But you guys, that really wraps up all of the fragrances heavily rumored to be coming back for the sale. I do think we're at the point of time that most of these we should expect to see. I wouldn't be really expecting any true surprises. So I would definitely start kind of inventorying your collection. There'll be a video about how to do that very soon, but kind of start getting a feel for the fragrances that maybe sound good. Maybe you have a lot of vanilla body washes, but not a lotion. So maybe you could get a lotion, like kind of start getting a feel for what's in your collection. And then of the fragrances we talked about, where could you maybe fill gaps, or where are the fragrances that maybe you remember from a long time ago that you could buy now on sale rather than super upcharged on like a Mercari or a Depop. That said, you guys, that really wraps up this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are about this collection, about this more, I guess, set in stone list in a way. Definitely rumored, but I feel like since it's made its way onto the official Tess's SAS page, we are like in the clear. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.